Hi, welcome back. This is CY again. Right. Yep. If you are the first time joining my channel, right? My channel is all about having fun making coffee. Today I'm going to talk about something that a lot of my viewers actually ask me, right? Is whether I should backflash or should I descale, right? When should I do a backflash and when should I do a descale, right? So this is the questions I'm going to discuss today. Right, so let me first talk about what is the difference between the two, right? When we make coffee, right, because when we roast the coffee beans will actually generate oil, called the coffee oil, right? And over time, when we pull espresso shot, right, the coffee oil will be deposited on the portafilter, on the filter itself, right, around the, okay, you can see that there's some stain here, which is actually the coffee stain, right? Some of them is actually coffee oil, and especially the coffee oil will actually build up underneath the shower screen, right? So if you don't do a backflash regularly, right, the coffee stain is going to build up underneath your shower screen, and that's going to change the taste of the espresso, right? So the purpose of the backflash tablets, right, is actually a detergent tablets in a tablet form, right, whereby you can place a tablets into your portafilter, right, and later I'll demo to you, so that actually you can do the cleaning, right, so that the detergent can actually remove all the coffee oil that's actually stuck in the shower screen, as well as your mainly your shower screen, right, not so much of your portafilter, because your filter basket can actually be washed regularly, right? So how often should I backflash, right? Is backflash the same as descale, right? Can I use the backflash tablets for descaling? The answer is no, because the backflash tablets and the descale tablets are totally two different kind of tablets, right? As I mentioned just now, the backflash tablet is actually a detergent in a tablet form, right? So it just removes the coffee oil. Whereas the descaler, right, the descale agent is actually to remove the calcium that's built up in your water tank, as well as any parts of a machine that has water, that has in contact with water, right? And how often should you do descaling, right? It actually depends on your area, whereby your area is having so-called the hard or soft water, right? In Singapore, the water hardness is around 60 to 65. That is considered as really clean water, so we don't really need to do descaling that often, right? How do you know whether you need to descale as often as possible? It's one thing that you can observe very easily, right? If you have any kettle or even your kitchen sink, right, if the water dries up and it leaves behind white color powdery form of kind of stain over your countertop, over your flask, right? Once it dry up, it has those white stain. It means that you are probably living in a region whereby the water is harder, right? And the harder the water, the more often you have to do descaling, right? And what is basically a descale agent, right? It's actually made out of acids, right? The acid is going to dissolve the calcium, right, that's built up in your metal, in the parts whereby it's in contact with water. And if you know chemistry, right, because the acid will actually react with the calcium, and you will actually undergo a chemical reaction to dissolve the calcium to form maybe calcium carbonates, right? If I'm please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a chemist, right? So and the calcium carbonate will be peeled off from the metal part that's in contact with water, which is covered with the calcium deposit on it, right? And that will actually be flushed out later on if you use a descaling agent, right? So if you don't like this commercial kind of descaling agent, right, you can actually use citric acid, right? I think in baking we use quite a lot of citric acid, so you can actually buy the citric acid powder, right, in the baking store or bakery, right? You can get them easily, right? And in my country, Singapore, they come in a pack of 500 gram to 1 kg, right? You just need about 10 to 15 gram per liter of water, right? And it is 100% food safe. It can be eaten. So there's if let's say there's there's a remnants of the citric acid left in your water tank, or in this case the thermojet, is perfectly alright, because it's consumable, right? Human can consume it. There's no harm done to the human, right? It will just the water will maybe taste a little bit acidic, excuse me, but it is 100% safe. So if you don't like to use the commercial descaling agent, you can actually choose to buy the citric acid, right? Some of my viewers suggested using vinegar, right? I'll probably not use vinegar, because vinegar has really a very strong taste, and I'm not too sure how much water you get to flush your espresso machine in order to get rid of the taste of the vinegar, right? Personally, I don't use vinegar. I just use, if I can't find descaling agent commercially, I'll just get the citric acid, right, which is easily available in a lot of bakeries, the store that sell baking needs, right? So today I'm going to show you how I backflash. How often do I backflash? Again, it depends on how often or how many shots you pull a day, right? For me, I pull 3 to 4 shots a day. So normally I'll do a backflash every 2 weeks, right? But there's no harm doing more, right? Just that you have to make sure that you flush out the chemical right before you make coffee, right? So right now, let me show you how I do the backflashing on the Breville Barista Pro. Okay, first you have to get your portafilter, right? Get your single baskets, right? You can use double basket if you want to, but normally I use a single basket, right? This actually comes with the machine. It's actually the backflashing disc, right? It's actually a rubbery kind of disc, right? So just put it on top, right? Next, your machine actually comes with 2 tablets, right? Those 2 tablets are the backflashing tablets. They are not descaling tablets. So the tablets cannot be used for descaling, right? So you can get this from eBay or from Amazon, right? It's called Cavisa E31. It's meant for espresso machine for backflashing, removing of the coffee oil, right? So just 1 tablet is 2 grams, right? So just put it here. Then you can lock it up in your portafilter and the group head. So switch on the machine now. Right, normally I'll leave a cup underneath, right, to catch all the water, right? The cycle is going to start by activating the manual button, right? So you can actually go to flush, right? You can see descale and flush here. Just press once, and the single short button light will light up. The moment you press, you will first flush the group head. Then I think the sequence is you'll flush the steam one, and then you'll flush the hot water outlet. Then I think you will repeat the process again to clean out everything, right? So this is actually the process. So now I'll be clicking on the flush button. Right, don't panic if there's no water coming out. The process is supposed to flush the water back, to push the water back to the group head, and not to allow the water to come out. So it's perfectly normal. There's no water coming out. But once the cycle finishes, it will purge the water into the drip tray, right? So you'll hear this sound, and the water will start to be going into your drip tray, right? So make sure your drip tray is in place, right? So there's a number 4 here indicated. So it means that you'll be going through this cycle, right? Right, so please stay with me, right? I'll show you the entire process without fast forwarding, so that you will know exactly what is the process going on when I'm doing backflashing. Right, so please be patient with me, right? Stay with me for the entire process, right? Hope this doesn't bore you out. If you don't want to be wasting your time here, you can actually fast forward a little bit, right? Because as you show on the counter clock here, right? The clock here actually runs down, so that it shows you how long before the next stage will be going. Oh, my bad. I think the backflash is not going to flush water through the steam wand and the hot water. That is actually meant for descaling, right? So sorry about that, right? The backflash will only flush the group head and not the steam wand, as well as the hot water outlet, right? So it's just cleaning up the shower screen by backflushing the detergent into the shower screen, shower head there, to remove all the oil stain that's built up inside there. So there's actually no need to have a cup here. So again, that's my mistake here. I have forgotten that the cup is actually usually used for when I'm doing descaling and not during back flushing. So during back flush, none of the liquid will come out from the portafilter. All the liquid will be pushed out into the drip tray directly. So again, I'm using this particular brand called Cafiza E31, right? I have been using this for 18 months, right? The first day I bought the machine, I bought the Cafiza. And for the descaler, I'm actually using this brand called Mr. Strong, right? I'm not too sure whether it's available in your area, but if you can't find it, right, you can just use citric acid powder. Right, that's the last 60 seconds there. Last 20 seconds. Right, so you can see once the back flushing is completed, right, the machine will beep once, right, to indicate the back flush has completed, and the manual screen, right, will return to the original default setup, right. So now you can actually unlock your portafilter, right, and you can see that most of the tablet has been dissolved, right. If there's still tablets remaining behind, right, don't worry, right. You can actually rerun the entire cycle again if you want to, right? But be careful when you touch this. It's actually quite hot, right? So another way to remove the filter basket, of course, is to use another basket to pry it open, right? Don't use a fingernail, right? It's gonna hurt, right? So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash this, right? I'm just gonna press, right, and wash it. Right, make sure I don't ingest any of the detergent into my body. Right, be careful, it's very hot. Right, so I will again just use the empty one. Right, just run blind shots to flush out the water. Right, just runs a few times, right, to make sure that all the detergent has been flushed out, right, because these are chemicals which we really don't want to end up, right, ingesting all this chemical. Right, so let's run again. Okay, we can actually leave the filter basket on and do a back flush. Sorry, not a back flush. To run blind shots so that we can flush out as much chemical as possible. Okay, so now you can see that the water is clean, but before that, let me just get a cup. Right, I want to make sure there's no chemical remaining behind. So I'm just going to flush out more water. Right, and I'll check the quality of the water to see if there's any particle that's inside the water. Right, so now let's check the water. Right, I will say that it's pretty clean. Right, I don't see any sediments or any powdery stuff inside the water. Right, so I think it's pretty okay now. So okay, so that's basically how I do the backflushing on the Breville Barista Pro. Right, it's actually a very simple process, and I hope by watching this video now, you know what is the difference between backflushing and descaling. Right, so the two are different because they serve different purpose. Right, this one to remove the coffee oil, this one to remove the calcium buildup in all the water, on all the parts of the machine that is in contact with water, including the water reservoir, especially the thermal jet, your steam wand, and the hot water outlet. Right, so these are the parts whereby when you run descaling, right, the descale agent will actually run through all these parts to remove all the calcium deposits. Right, so okay, thank you for watching today. Right, this is something that I would love to share with everyone. Some important info, right? So remember, the tablets that come with the machine, the two tablets that come with the machine are meant for backflushing. They are not meant for descaling, right? The machine does not come with any descaling agents, right? And don't worry if you can't find any descaling agent in your area, just get citric acid, right? I'm not too sure about vinegar, but I don't advocate for it because I'm afraid that the machine may be tainted with the taste of the vinegar and it will be quite hard to get rid of. But if you have tried vinegar, right, I wish that you can share your experience with us, how effective vinegar is, right? Or if you have tried a citric acid, do share with us as well in the comment down below, right? So thank you for watching, and I hope that you find this video useful, right? And of course, do remember to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and click on the bell so that you will stay updated on my future video releases, right? So thank you and have a good night. See you very soon.